they're putting the wrong music on there.
I don't know. I kind of like the new stuff. Something different.
Joe Reichel is here from Damage Control Services, and he is going to answer your questions. In fact, I have a question for you from somebody.
Excellent.
And I said to the person who asked me, I said, I don't think this has ever come up before. So a brand new question. You've been doing this for a long time now, right?
Yes.
So we have a new question. So how are you doing, first of all?
I'm wonderful.
And everybody else, your questions are important. The number to call Joe Reichel is 622-9622. That's, of course, while he's here on the air. After he gets off the air, you can call him on his office line or his cell phone, whatever it is.
Yep.
So here's the question.
Ready.
Ask Joe, when you're on the air with him, somebody said to me, they listen, what do you recommend regarding generic this is almost like a pharmacy question, generic versus brand name building supplies? He specifically wanted you to talk about nails and glue, things that hold things together.
That's a great question.
I never even knew there was an issue with brand
there's
name.
Always, I mean, and here's the thing about all products, and you've got generic or store brand products, and they'll have the same name, basically their name, the store name, on the same products that everybody else does. So really it depends what you're using, what you're doing. A lot of times, and I'll talk about nails and screws, for example, like screw guns. A lot of times, if they're the quick load kind that come in a
right.
like for doing decking
or
something like that.
Is there a brand name that comes?
Well, Bostitch is a big one for that.
So that'd be like
Hitachi. Those are your name brand nail guns and screw providers. A lot of times they will they have certain types, and only their type will work in their guns. And then a lot of times you'll have generic ones, and it's a generic name, but they will say for certain guns, for example, or to be used with certain pneumatic equipment. So really it depends. As long as it's used for it, and as long as it's the right application, you can use whatever brand you want, and sometimes it's better to shop around because you can get a better deal.
All right, well, here's the way I got it. He's a carpenter, so, so he does a lot of work all year long. And if I was to build, let's say, a deck, the dollar amount that I'd pay for brand name nails versus generic nails would be only a couple dollars.
Yeah,
because I'm only using
it's not going to be that much. No.
But if you're doing it all the time,
yeah, if you're doing a lot, and that's where the more you buy, a lot of times the more the higher quantity, the better deal you can get a lot of times too. So when you deal with suppliers, different suppliers, locally, building supply companies, not necessarily the like contractors, for example, we can get a contractor deal at like Lowe's or Home Depot, Manning Building Supply, any of these, Tibbetts Lumber. You can get contractor sales and contractor pricing. So and there's some smaller, like Tool Doctor. The Tool Doctor, they do a lot of fastener sales, and
but what about the quality? Is the quality as good on the?
Well, a lot of times they'll stand up, stand behind them, and you just want to make sure. Most importantly, you want to make sure that you're using the right type of screw or nail to hold whatever you're fastening. That's the most important. A lot of times there's different. Like lumber, for example. If you're using pressure-treated lumber, you don't want to just use a regular nail because it will rust it out. So you have to use nails that will say on there for pressure-treated lumber.
Oh, okay. But and that wouldn't matter whether it was a brand name or not, as long as it said that.
Right. Yeah, it has to have that.
Okay.
Has to say that.
Do you remember the Chinese drywall? Did you know where I was going?
No.
Okay, but the Chinese drywall, I don't know if it was cheaper or not.
Well, they were.
But remember, it had a problem. It got moldy or something.
It was the way it was made. The products that made the drywall that caused the wiring and whatever inside your your appliances.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
To corrode or deteriorate, I guess is what it was. So, and that was because of the materials that it was made out of. So. A lot of times, and you'll have that different types of products that are out there that aren't tested, for example, Masonite siding used to be a really big one, and in Florida, a lot of people used it.
Right.
It was supposed to be really, really good.
Oh, and it wasn't.
It wasn't supposed to ever rot.
But it did.
Yeah, we've replaced lots of that.
Is that the stuff that cracked after it was in the sun for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
it had a wood look to it. It looked like wood, but a wood siding.
So do they do it now?
Well, even a lot of times people, a lot of homes were built using T111 siding, and it's a plywood. It's an exterior plywood. It's a great product in the right condition. A lot of times people use them on houses, and if the edges aren't primed and painted, it's going to rot. It's a wood siding.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not necessarily the material, but the application, where it's used and what it's done with it, and that's what happens. So if it's not done right or prepped right.
And I think you talked one time before about painting or at least protecting both sides, not just the side that you will see.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of times if it's at the bottom, for example, or where water's going to get it or can sit in that area, it's always good to prime and paint the backside as well. Even if you just go up, so in a little bit of the way. That way, that water, that moisture is not going to get to it.
So does the generic brand name argument, is it the same for paints as well?
Well, really it depends what it is that you're using. I mean, if you look at different qualities of paint, you can get a $10 a gallon paint, a $20 a gallon paint, a $30 a gallon paint. You've got to make sure you know where you're using it, what it's going to be going on, and making sure that you're putting enough coats of paint on it. Some paints will just say one coat and you're good, and that is possible. But you've got to make sure that it coats it really good. For example, if you're doing block, you've got to put several coats of paint.
I would imagine it gets sucked in, right? Mm-hmm. Soaked in. You do have a phone call, and phone calls are invited if you want to call the show, whether it's with a question or add a comment. The number is 622-9622. Good morning. You're on the air with Joe Reichel.
Good morning, Joe. I have a question about water heaters. We have a problem with ours after 27 years.
Oh, no. What's the problem?
It's full of lime.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a question, and you can just delve into it. I'll hang up. But what about these water heaters on demand? Do you know much about them and requirements? And do they have problems? We have a lot of lime in our water, so that's what caused our problem. So if you could just maybe tell me.
Well,
something.
First of all, let me ask you a few questions about it. Do you have access to natural gas?
No.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, those type of on-demand water heaters are very good. The gas ones are typically really good. I'm not so certain about electric ones. Mike Scott Plumbing, that would be your best bet to call them, and they'd be able to help you through any questions on that. But if you do have a situation where you've got a lot of lime in your water, you may want to check into having
water filtration.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I told my husband, but he's stubborn.
Well, and stubborn isn't always a bad thing. However,
well, he just thinks, all that salt isn't going to be any better for your pipes and the lime, so I don't know.
Well, and really it depends what the situation is, but you've got to think about not just the pipes, but all of your appliances that use that water as well.
Oh, true. I know. I told him through the years that's why we should have had it, and he just turns a deaf ear to me.
Husbands aren't always the smartest, that's for sure.
Say I'm right and you're wrong.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, really.
I did not say that. You might want to check into it. I will say that. A friend of mine,
Thank you.
You're welcome. A friend of mine and I were just having this conversation about her home a couple days ago, and she's got a situation where she has a water softener, and I recommended Florida Water go out there and Tom go out and take a look at that for her and see see what was happening because it wasn't working properly. And his argument is exactly what I was just saying. All of the appliances that are using it, your dishwasher, if you don't take care of those appliances, you're going to be replacing your dishwasher, your washing machine, all of these things, even the commode, the parts in your commode. If something happens to, we've talked about a lot of times the flapper in the commode, because of the water, it gets deteriorated, and then that continues to run. That running, continues over a certain amount of time. It fills up your septic tank. Next thing you know, you've got water flowing out on the floor. Someday, and you're not home, and you're having to call me, and it's not going to be a nice phone call.
Fix it, yeah. So the cost of the filter and the salt, the maintenance of it, will protect all the other things that'll be damaged if you don't do it, right?
Yep. Did we miss our break?
We got into it, but you did a smart thing. Don't get into that argument between the husband and wife. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. The phone calls that you have out there are important to us in here. The number to get here is 622-9622. We'll be right back with Joe Reichel and Damage Control.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny and increasingly windy today. There can be a shower along the coast, the high 80 to 84. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy. There can be a shower along the coast. The wind will diminish. Low 63 in a few inland spots, 72 on the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny and breezy. There can be a passing shower, the high 81 to 85. Thursday, partly sunny. Chance of a shower, high 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Over the past 10 years, most fire stations phased out the poles and replaced them with either stairs or the latest weapon in firefighting, the fireman's slide. Simply locking eyes with somebody makes them seem more attractive than someone who isn't looking your way. You'll love this new type of therapy. It's bibliotherapy. Basically, a therapist recommends books to help you work through whatever issues you may have.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 10 minutes before 11 o'clock. That was a good first half of the show. Joe Reichel is here. The show is called Damage Control. Joe is with Damage Control Services, and we'll give you that number in just a bit. But right now, the number to call Joe on the radio is 622-9622. You found something pretty cool on the.
Well, I did, but before we get to that, we were talking about nails and screws and glue, and and I forgot all about DIY.
DIY, right.
You know, great opportunity to get a lot of your materials for building equipment at a less expensive cost than other places.
Absolutely, and the thing that would scare me is if I was going to build something that had to support people's weight, and I didn't have the right nails, or if that would scare me, or if it was a poor quality nail or something.
Well, and that's where a lot of times it's very important to get an architect and engineer involved in a project. Depending on what you're doing, so that you are making sure that you're doing everything the right way.
Can I
That's part of what we do.
I was driving past, the old Kmart. I think it's now the. Oh gosh, what is it now? They sell
the Wildwood Flea Market. Oh, Burlington Coat Factory.
Yeah. The side of it used to be the gardening section.
Okay.
They're knocking down that wall to do something with it.
Okay.
And I was wondering, do you do that too? Like, let's say
demolition.
Yeah.
We do a lot of demolition.
You do. So so you don't not only just fixing things. Sometimes
a lot of times when there's a disaster, let's just say a fire, for example, and I want to talk more about fires today. After this maybe, but when there is a fire, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be demoed and taken down before we can ever go forward. So you've got to go backwards, and a lot of times with a disaster, you've got to take it apart in order to go put back the new. So yeah, a lot of times we do a lot of demolition.
And that makes sense. You have a phone call. I'll take the call just real quickly.
Sure.
So if I wanted you to demolish something, but I had no plans to build it, I don't have anything damaged, I just want you to come out and tear down my old garage or my old shed or something.
We've done that.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
We've done some projects where we had to just take an old deck that was rotting off of a house in order for them to be able to get homeowners insurance, renew their homeowners insurance.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Because the deck wasn't safe anymore.
And you have a phone call. Good morning. Thank you for waiting, by the way. You're on with Joe.
Hi. Good morning, Joe and Larry.
Hey.
Good morning.
Yeah, say, Joe, have you ever dealt with a person that had a high radon reading in their home? And if you did, how would you correct a problem like that?
Well, there's a lot of radon detection systems out there. Not a lot of them, but there's several out there, and it would be important to have one of those installed. As far as radon remediation, I'm not really familiar with that. We don't do much of that. I know like I said, I know there are companies out there that do it and would be able to answer that question. But and that's why a lot of times the newer smoke alarms also are smoke detectors are also radon detectors. So.
Yeah, who would you contact if you have a problem like that in town?
I don't know personally. I know there's one company that does that detection. I believe they do it, and that's USA Home Inspections. But I'm not real certain. I have not had to delve into that too much, but I think they do that. They do the detection of it. I believe they do, and if they don't, USA Home Inspections could point you in the right direction. But I would probably also Google that and then just put in Ocala or radon detection Ocala, Florida, and something would come up on the internet, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it would be kind of a costly thing to correct that, because it's kind of a, it's gas that's coming through the ground, through the foundation in the house. I don't know how the heck you would stop something like that. That sounds to me like it'd be a pretty expensive way of treating that.
Well, really it depends on the situation where it's coming from, but a lot of times the unit that's put in to get rivets, not really that hard. It's a couple hours installation and you're good to go. So
you would go off if the radon gas itself could do any damage to the structure.
It's not going to do any damage to the structure. That's a gas that's does more harm to the inhabitants of the structure.
Right. Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. So speaking of that, as we're going into the winter months, we were talking there about radon detectors.
Right.
Thank you for that phone call. But Ocala Fire Rescue have this program set up where you can go to their website, and I'm looking it up, make sure I got ocalafire.org. You can go to their website in order to get a free smoke alarm, and all you have to do is stop by their office, the administrative office, and that's the one located downtown 410 Northeast 3rd Street, between 8 and 5 Monday through Friday to receive a free smoke alarm. So, you know, as we're going into fire season, the winter months are always known as more fires happening. It would be a great idea to get one, simply because every 85 seconds, and this is a neat statistic, every 85 seconds, an American family is impacted by a fire.
Wow. Wow.
So a simple act of installing a smoke detector can
get you out.
Help
you won't
save
stop
lives.
the fire, but it'll get you out of the house.
No, and it will definitely help. So, you know, as many fires that impact families, it's always a great idea to put one of these. Make sure, and you can have several of them in your home. Typically, one on each end is a great idea, so that in the event of a fire, all of your family can be warned and you can get out of there safely. So one neat thing too, on their Ocala, Florida, make sure I get this right, ocalafire.org. If you go there, if you type in that website, there's a form that you can fill out to schedule an appointment where they'll come out and install it for you as well if you're an Ocala City resident.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not so sure, or do you know if the county does the same thing on a county-wide?
I don't know about the county, but I saw the billboard on the way coming in here this morning on 17th. It reminded me of it, so
yeah,
I wanted to mention that today on the air. So it's something really cool for Ocala residents.
Yeah, I just went to their website. Nice website, by the way.
That is a nice website. So ocalafire.org.
And that's the one where John Travolta trained, right? I think there's a picture of him in here somewhere.
I don't know.
Training, you know. Smoke alarms for escape. Schedule an appointment. Yeah, I see it right on here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. There's a quick, easy spot you can click on there, and it goes to the page where you can sign up to get that, or you can just stop at the main office, the main administrative office, and
that's the one by Tuscaloosa. That's the one by Tuscaloosa, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh, here it is. Here's the request form. Okay. I was see if
it's easy. Just your email address, your name, your home address, a contact phone number, and the best time to contact you. So it's real easy.
Really good idea.
It's not hard.
Share that on Facebook. We've got about a minute left. How do we get a hold of you? What's your phone number?
My phone number, my direct line, is 352-817-6574. If you have any disaster or construction-related questions that I could help you with, or you can email me, Joe at damageflorida.com.
And you still doing the blog?
I am.
Okay.
We're getting that going up again, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Sign up for that, email me or call me, and we can get you on that list, too.
Good show today. Went so
Great
quick.
show.
All right. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Damage control. Damage control. Damage control. Damage control. Damage control. Damage control. Damage control.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages,